Let us begin with this mantra. Tabu kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriritam kalmashapaham Sravana mangalam Sri Madatatam Bhuvignanti e Bhuridajanaha. Now, in our last discourse, we have discussed the instruction Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna has given to purify our mind. That was the first class, and there we were discussing what the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is speaking about, because the purification of mind is very, very important. What is that purification? Thinking of God and not thinking of the worldly things. What are the worldly things? The temporary and also selfish, attached with ego. So whenever we talk about the worldly things, it is always temporary and attached with ego. These are the things. So that if we can overcome, immediately our mind is ready to receive the God. This human mind, which we are putting in these temporary things, and at this that there we are reacting. Sometimes we are liking, sometimes we are not liking, sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad, morose, and all these things are going on, and that is the reason we cannot concentrate our mind on that particular thing that is called God, that is permanent. So people are going and asking, so what to do? Now, everything is nothing but the mind. If the mind is thinking positive way, it is positive. If you are thinking in a negative way, it is negative. So all depends on the mind. Whose mind? My mind. So I have to control my mind, guide my mind, channelize my mind, and that only will take me beyond these problems of birth and death again and again, happiness and misery again and again, and then it will take to a wonderful place which is tranquil, full of joy, and that is permanent. That is the conception. Sometimes some people they speak about the God. So that is. Now, what is this mind? Flow of thoughts. Last time we discussed. And what are these thoughts? They are the past impressions and the present experiences also. They are all collected by our Pancha Indriyas. Then when we go to Sri Ramakrishna and ask him how to purify this mind, go beyond this thought flow, then he gives us the 8 instructions. First is holy company, and second, living in solitude. Third, performing one's own duty. Fourth, discrimination. Fifth, practice of spirituality. Sixth, faith. Seventh, prayer. And 8, completely surrender to God. So completely surrendering to God. These are the steps. So last 2 steps, that is called prayer and that complete surrender, is very, very difficult. Why prayer is so difficult? Constantly we are praying, but for the prayer we need the faith, and for the faith we have to go to the first step, that is called holy company, or in Sanskrit as they call it, sadhu sangha, the holy company. And there when we see the holy people, when we listen to them, hear to them, read in the books, then slowly we develop the faith. God is there. Again and again, Sri Ramakrishna is telling God is there. Anyone can see God. Anyone can talk to God. So these are the words that if we believe, then we start. And if we have that faith ultimately, complete faith, then comes the prayer. Eternally perfect sages like Prahlada, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, eternally perfect sages like Prahlada also practice meditation and prayer. Meditation and prayer means concentrating on that God and praying to Him. What to pray? Then he is teaching, O God, please reveal unto me. Reveal thyself unto me. I do not know how you are. It is not possible for me also to understand you, because my conception is very, very small. So naturally, you only can help me. And another is complete self-surrender, like a small baby. The baby cannot do anything. Only the baby has complete faith on mother, and she is always safe on the lap of mother. So like that, if we can surrender ourselves, and we can understand at this age when there is so much of ego, so we are completely separated from God. Sometimes we are thinking about Him, but completely surrendering in the hands of God, if we try, we can understand it is so difficult. We have to completely eradicate, remove that I am someone, I can think, I can do. All those things should go away, and then complete surrender in the hand of the cast thy burden upon the Lord, and He shall sustain thee. The Bible tells the same words, same teaching. In the Bible, the Lord Jesus, He is telling, cast thy burden upon the Lord. If you can give your whole thing on the Lord, believing God will protect me, guide me, then only, and casting the burden means my thoughts, my problems, my shortcomings, everything I am giving to God, and He shall sustain thee. And it is assured, if you can really believe Him, if you have complete faith on Him, and if you give it to Him, then He will sustain you. In the Bhagavad Gita, we also find the same teaching. In the 9th chapter, 22nd sloka of the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Anannaschintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga shemam vahammaham. There's a promise that the God is making, that I will carry whom, that it says, meditating on me the God, as non-separate, anannaschintayat. Here in the Bible we find that the God is separate, I am separate. I am giving my burden, my problem, myself at the feet of God. But here it says, feeling or having that idea of oneness, meditating on me, the God, as non-separate. This is important. I am not separate than God. So naturally, I am completely with God. Worship me in all beings. This is also another step. Everything that I see is nothing but the manifestation of God. So I am worshipping God. Sometimes some people, they go and serve others. But if this thought is there, why I am serving them? Because they are the manifestation of God. They may not know it. Though they may not know it, but I know, I believe, I have the faith. These are nothing but the manifestation of God. So I go and serve them, and with all devotion, with all humbleness, with all prayer. That service pleases the God. So it says, meditating on me, God, as non-separate, worship me in all beings, to them thus ever jealously engaged, I carry what they lack. Yoga. Yoga means union. So, whatever they lack, that I carry, I give to them and preserve what they already have. Shema. Shema, the word Shema means God protects. Suppose I am depending on God and I don't have much devotion, much faith, much belief. I don't have that austerity. God will give all those things to me because I am depending on God. And not only that, after some time, some people, after practicing austerity, they start feeling a sort of an ego that I have to go out and I should do this thing and that thing, helping people. If I don't do, who will do? Everything that I must have to do, all this ego comes, subtle ego, almost unknowingly to this type of people who have developed a little spirituality, and that is the bane of their life. Again they come back because ego. I have the power to go and transform people, help people, I will do this, I will do that. What he is thinking, God will do it? No, he is thinking, I will do. So that is why again it goes away. So the prayer is, the promise is, by the God, if you are completely depending on me, I will protect all those things that you are already having. That means I am not taking away all those, giving the temptation of ego. Anannas chintayanto mam, continuously thinking about God. Chintaya, chintaya means thinking. Ananya, without any break, continuously meditating or thinking about God and for them. So, Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling complete surrender. So, these are the 8 steps. If we remember, then it is good for us, good for any spiritual aspirant. Now, sometimes some people they think that it is only for the Hindus or particularly is for the followers of the Ramakrishna. There is nothing like that. This is completely open. The holy company, satsanga, is for anyone. Whoever he may be, wherever he may be, whatever may be the faith. But holy company is a must as a beginning. Then we will read from this particular passage here, Sunday, June 17, 1883. Sri Ramakrishna was resting in his room in the temple garden at Dakshineshwar. It was afternoon. Author and aim. Aim is the writer. That means Mahendra, he wanted to keep himself in a hide, not disclosing who is he. Author and aim, sometimes he has mentioned a devotee, sometimes another way. Arrived and saluted the master. A tantric devotee also came in. Rakhal, Hazra and Ramlal were staying with Sri Ramakrishna. Hazra and Ramlal, they were there with Sri Ramakrishna. Now Rakhal, afterwards who became Swami Brahmananda, he was staying. The Master Moshe is giving all this description. Why? It will be easy for us to meditate. Now if we read also the biographies and about these people, the other Shane, he was a deputy magistrate. In those days, deputy magistrate means a very high post. For the Indians, becoming a deputy magistrate in the regime of the Britishers, it was a very high post. Still he used to come, he was very humble and he used to serve Sri Ramakrishna, having complete faith in Sri Ramakrishna. Aim, of course, a devotee, and he never failed. Whenever there was an opportunity for him, he used to live in Calcutta. And if you go Tantania, Kalibadi, that is the neighborhood, that is the place where it's to stay. And from there, Dakshineshwar is a faraway place. He used to walk sometimes and cross the Ganga by boat. All these people used to come. And a tantric devotee, aim perhaps never introduced with this gentleman, but he could understand that he practices Tantra. Tantra again is a path that leads to God, and about the Tantra, of course, I am trying to give the retreat this time in the month of October, the last retreat in Ganges. I will try to, that is my retreat, and I will try to give on Tantra. So then an idea about the Tantra will come. So this tantric devotee has come. They are the worshippers of Shakti, and this master to the devotees, Sri Ramakrishna, is continuing. Why shouldn't one be able to attain spirituality living in the life of a householder? Why shouldn't one? That means previously also he said, of course he can. So sometimes some people they think that they have to give up everything and then go. It is not like that. Giving up attachment mentally, not that all the time physically you have to give. So that is why he is telling, but it is extremely difficult. And he is explaining why it is difficult. If you move about in a room filled with soot, you will soil your body, however slightly, no matter how clever you may be. So giving the example, so naturally one has to be very, very careful. Why? Because in this external world, in the family life, you have to adjust with many things which is not that way moral. So obviously that these are the problems for the householder's life first. Secondly, you have to be worried about many, many things. So naturally you cannot give the whole time for the devotion of God. So all these things are there. Of course you have to have little ego, otherwise you cannot retain your position in the household, in the family, in the society. So these are the problems that is dragging a person, and that you have to overcome. But Sri Ramakrishna is telling it is possible to develop the spirituality living in the householder's life, but it is extremely difficult. And now he is telling, observing the movement of the householder, I have seen householder devotees filled with spiritual emotion while performing their daily worship. Many of the devotees, they do it. Filled with spiritual emotion while performing their daily worship, they maintain that attitude even until they take their refreshments after the worship. So look at the very specifically he is mentioning, and if we observe, then we will find we are really doing that. Most of us are doing like that. When we do some worship, we are very attentive and performing that, but after the refreshments, immediately all those things go away, my mind goes. Then he said, they maintain that attitude even until they take their refreshments after the worship, but afterwards they become their old selves again. They display their rajasic and tamasic natures. Sattva begets bhakti. Even bhakti has three aspects: sattva, raja and tama. Even the devotion is also having these three. The sattva of bhakti is pure sattva. When a devotee acquires it, he doesn't direct his mind to anything but God. He pays only as much attention to his body as is absolutely necessary for its protection. So this is very clear for how one will realize God. That is one thing. Second, who is going to realize God? I am going to realize God. Then what should be the attitude that he is telling? Only unnecessarily people are bragging that I am devotee, I am do this, I do that. That won't do. That won't help. This is the very, very practical suggestions and indications. And he is telling the sattva bhakti. That means that must be complete devotion constantly, paying that much attention to the body as is absolutely necessary for its protection. Then he says, but a Paramahamsa is beyond the three gunas. He is indicating himself, because people in those days, they were not aware about Sri Ramakrishna. Only at the last stage of his life, he disclosed. But some of the very good souls, they understood it and they were trying to tell it to the people, but it was difficult. Contemporary people do not try to accept, and they are not easy to accept. Paramahamsa is beyond the three gunas. We know the three gunas. Almost all of us, those who are attending regularly the Vedanta classes, Sattva, Raja and Tama. These are the three gunas. And these three gunas is the basis of the Hindu philosophy, and a human psychology. If we observe, we find these three different type of qualities are there. Gunas means qualities. And because of these three different qualities, the people are different. And sometimes the same person behaving three different way, that proves that there are three different types of qualities are there. But Paramahamsa is beyond these three gunas. Then he said, though they exist in him, yet they are practically non-existent. And he is giving the example in different places that when a rope is burnt, if you see from distance, it's just like a rope. Everything exactly just like that, but it cannot bind. You cannot use that rope for anything else. If again he is telling, if a touchstone, because of the touchstone, one still sword become gold, it remains that same shape of a sword, but it cannot do any harm to anyone. So that is the way he is giving the expression. The Paramahamsa, he is having the three gunas. Sometimes he is showing his anger, sometimes he is showing his attachment, sometimes he is doing this and that, showing only. But in reality it is not there. When he used to constantly think about the Narendranath, the young boy who came, and he used to tell other people, why don't you go and inquire about him, why don't you go and mix with him, he is a very good boy, etc., etc. Naturally, as always, the contemporary people, they used to think, why so much for Narendranath? So one day, one person told him, as because his father is a rich man, perhaps you are attracted to him only to impress his father, to get some monetary benefit, to get some help from him. And naturally, those who are rich, they get extra attention from this type of brahmanas and the priest and all. So that's why he mentioned immediately. He asked himself, Sri Ramakrishna, I am attached to Narendranath because of this, I am attracted to Narendranath because of this. Then he went to his court, always the mother is that goddess Kali, and she was so leaving all the time. So he went to the goddess Kali and asked Mother, is it true that I am attracted to Narendranath because of his father, because of his family, because of he is rich? Then he came back beaming with joy and told that person, you are wrong, because Mother told, I love these boys because I see Narayana within them. And I can see the holiness in them. Sometimes some people, they come, you feel like talking with them, mixing with them, having their company constantly. Why? Just because they are from the rich family and all? No. Because the manifestation of the goodness is there. So when the manifestation of that swatika or the goodness is there, purity is there, love for God is there, so naturally, particularly the holy people, they love those people who are developed in this. In English they say, a man is known by his company. That is very true. So suppose you find that all the time you are finding joy with some people who are not that way good, know it for sure that you may think that, oh no, this is in the society I have to live, so obviously I have to keep contact with them, I have to keep them in good humor. It may be, but if you feel joy and always feel attraction to go to that company, that means you are that type. It is sure. So that's way, that's English, the proverb and the saying is correct. A man is known by his company. And in this pure souls, those who are really trying to be good, when they find someone else is also pure, and pure means unselfish, pure means guileless, pure means simple, pure means devoted, naturally they feel friendship and the friendly attraction to this. Narendranath was, afterwards we all know who he was. So naturally Sri Ramakrishna, he knew who is coming. This is all mystical thing, many people may not believe, but this is true. And this Sri Ramakrishna, when he saw that Narendranath is coming, 16, 17 years young boy, he never saw about or thought about their family. He saw the boy, and then he was preparing him, making him ready for the missionary work that he was supposed to do in future, and that's why we got Swami Vivekananda. The whole world, they got Swami Vivekananda. This is a beautiful book, A Gift Unopened. A gift was given by God to the humanity, and that is Swami Vivekananda. But we unfortunately could not open it, could not get the benefit of the gift that was given to us, a gift unopened. So this is the Sri Ramakrishna is telling, but the Paramahamsa is beyond three gunas. Though they exist in him, yet they are practically non-existent. This is wonderful. In the Bhagavad Gita again, in the 14th chapter, 26th sloka, it says, Mam cha yo abhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatittvaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Who serves me with unswerving devotion, he going beyond the gunas. Who is in Paramahamsa? As the swan they call, the great swan. Why? Whenever I see these birds, the swans, they come fly. I think I heard that they come from the Canada, and two of them, they are living over here. They are constantly sweeping in our small pond. I observe and see they are going inside the water, coming out of it. They are playing on the water, floating on the water, but not a drop of water on their body. Whenever they are flying or coming up, not a stain of water. That is Paramahamsa. The Paramahamsa, Parama means the supreme, Hamsa means the swan. So they live in this society exactly as we are. They are behaving exactly as we are. Sometimes they are criticizing, sometimes they are loving, sometimes they are asking for this, sometimes for that. Sometimes Sri Ramakrishna used to ask, can you prepare that type of curry? I like to eat that curry. Then people who used to hear, what type of holy man is this? Then he used to say, I will go to your place. I like to visit you. I like to see him. All these things he used to do just like any ordinary person. And suddenly he changed in the deep meditation. Master Mahasaya, when he first came, he saw the Sri Ramakrishna is talking. He was excellent speaker. And whenever he used to speak, people used to mesmerize, they used to listen. Of course, the God. And then he used to sing and dance. His dancing also, it is very, very rhythmic, and people used to wonder how he learned that. And this singing and dancing and talking, making people very happy. So Master Mahasaya was also very happy. He felt attracted. He again came back. He went out, everybody left. Sri Ramakrishna was alone. So Master Mahasaya thought, let me go and get the next date when he is going to meet the devotees, so that I will also come. When he went, he saw that Sri Ramakrishna all alone. He is pacing up and down. If you have gone to the Dakshinesha, this is called Nat Mandis. That's the cultural place attached with the main temple. Garbha Mandira is where the god or goddess is. He is a big one. He is pacing up and down just like a lion. The man who was laughing, joking and mixing with any ordinary person, now Master Mashai was very much hesitant to go near that person, same person. Why? Suddenly his personality changed. So that is the Paramahamsa. All the three gunas are there, Sattva, Raja, Tama, but at the same time he is beyond these. In the Bhagavad Gita it also says, he who serves me with unswerving devotion, he going beyond the three gunas. In the Bhagavad Gita also again it says in the second chapter, I think 45 sloka or so, 45 sloka, the Trigunna Vishaya Vedad Nistrigunna Bhavarjuna. Sri Krishna is saying this is the uniqueness of the Hinduism. So broad, so Catholic, so wonderful understanding. So they can never become narrow-minded. Sometimes some people, they talk about Hinduism comparing with others, become narrow. It is really very sad. In the Veda also, our own God, Sri Krishna is telling, go beyond Veda. Why? Even the Veda, the basis of Hinduism, they also come under these Sattva, Raja and Tama, three gunas. Beyond you have to go. And Sri Ramakrishna is also giving the stories. In that story he is telling the last dacoit, three of them, one wanted to kill that man after robbing him off, and second one told, don't kill, bind him. The Tamasic and Rajasic. The third one came back and then he asked him to go to his own village. But he said, I cannot go along with you to the village because I too am a dacoit. So why? That is the Sattik, the Swattva, though very good, but cannot go to God. You have to go beyond this. So you have to go beyond the Veda. Veda is teaching you, giving you all the guidance to go towards God, but you have to go beyond. Paramahamsa is beyond, and here we find in the Gita, it says you have to go beyond this. And Samati Tvaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate is filled with becoming Brahman. And then again, Sri Ramakrishna says, the Tantrika devotee, he is asking a question. And there, of course, very, very intelligent question. Is Paramahamsa aware of virtue and vice? This is a very simple question apparently, but very tricky questions. The moment you know the virtue, you know the vice also. If you know the vice, of course you know the virtues also. That means these two pairs, the moment you have one in your mind, the other is also of course there. That is, in the argument you cannot say no. The moment you say, I know all these things are virtues, so what are the vices? You must have the comparison, you must know these are things not virtue and these are things who are virtue. So if you say this, you have to accept the other also. So I told you perhaps in one of my talk that one gentleman raised the question, a doubt, when one of our Swamiji in Bombay, I was there, I was also attending that discourse. He was talking about God and suddenly he stood up and said, I don't believe in God. I think there is no God. Then immediately, very nicely, the Swamiji answered, I bow down to you because you are the only person who knows God. Otherwise, how can you say there is no God? If I don't have any conception about God, I know about a cow and I can clearly say in this auditorium, in this place, no cow. because I am sure, I know the cow, I can say there is no cow. And similarly, you are telling no God, that means you have complete conception about God, you know what is God, I bow down to you. And then he became ashamed. No, I was thinking, no, it's okay, because of the argument's sake. So this is, if you say that, I know the virtue, you know the vices also. And if you know the vices, there's also the same thing. So that's why very tricky questions the tantric is asking. And Sri Ramakrishna's answer, very intelligent answer. He is telling, Keshav Sen also asked that question. And I said to him, if I explain that to you, then you won't be able to keep your society together. Keshav Chandra Sen, all of you know, he was having the society Brahma Samaj. He was the leader of the Brahma Samaj. And Sri Ramakrishna said, if I explain it to you, then obviously your society will break. You cannot have the society. Then Keshav said, in that case, we had better stop here, Keshav said, because I want the society. Then Sri Ramakrishna is explained, do you know the significance of virtue and vice? See the answer. A Paramahamsa sees that it is God who gives us evil tendencies as well as good tendencies. Most of the people, they will come and they will tell, what type of God is this? So much of torturing, so much of pain, so much of this, so much of that. As because they don't have any idea. The God is giving the good, God is giving the bad. And God is giving you the discriminative faculty also, your buddhi. And God is also coming in the form of a devoted person, as a holy man, giving you the company, your teaching of that. God has spoken through the rishis, the Veda, the Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, all these things. After all this knowing and reading, if you still follow the path that God himself has given, you are to suffer. This is of course, the teacher has given you the book. Teacher is teaching in the class, and teacher is guiding and giving you the conscious. Again and again he is making you aware. If you are not attentive in the class, you are not going to pass in the exam. Be careful. Then the same teacher, he prepares the question paper, then he takes the exam, and then he is not giving the marks because you could not write. Now if you go and complain, the teacher is bad, he didn't give me the proper marks, etc., it won't be, because that is your karma phala. So similarly, he gives this answer. A Paramahamsa sees, not only sees, he is very much aware, completely aware, every moment he is aware that it is God who gives us evil tendencies as well as good tendencies. Haven't you noticed that there are both sweet and bitter fruits? The God has given. And there are some trees, they are bearing very sweet fruits, and some trees bearing very bitter fruits. And that is why, so you have to choose it. You must be careful to choose it. That is up to you. And that is why God has given you intelligent brain, a mind. That is why the Sri Ramakrishna was the worshipper of goddess Kali. And Kali, they say that Kali is the goddess of power. And immediately Tantra, and then the fearful stories and all those things. No. Goddess Kali is the goddess of knowledge. And knowledge is power. And that's why all that. Sometimes I have already explained, and some other time we may talk about that. The goddess Kali is nothing but the goddess of learning, knowledge, and knowledge is power. That's why Shakti Devi. And here, what is that knowledge? God has given good, God has given bad, I have to choose it. Paracha eva aparacha, both are there, the knowledges. I have to choose properly. And then he says, and then Tantrika is telling, yes, sir, that is true. Says Sri Ramakrishna, The Paramahamsa realizes that all these, good and bad, virtue and vice, real and unreal, are only the glories of God's Maya. So he is not affected. So that is called beyond the three gunas. Going beyond the three gunas, then only this tranquility comes, this clear idea comes, knowledge comes. What is that? This good and bad, virtue and vice, real and unreal, are only the glories of God's Maya, the power of God. It is remaining in God, it is within the God, but it is not affecting God. Why? Again, in some other place he said, the venom that is there in the poison, that is there in the snake, but it is not doing any harm to the snake. Similarly, the God is having all these bad things, and that clarifies everything so clearly. There's some other religion, some other philosophy, they always think about someone else apart from God who is bringing all the bad things, and they talk about the Satan, they talk about the devils, all this. But if the devil is there, the Satan is there, then the God and devil are two existences, two personalities, two realities, and whenever there are two, there are clashes, and whenever there are clashes, there cannot be the permanency. It's going to be destroyed. So naturally, the best way of answering this is this: the God himself has given good and bad, virtue and vice, real and unreal. They are the glories of God's Maya, the power of God. But these are very deep thoughts. These are Vedantic thoughts. We talk about Vedanta, these are the Vedantic thoughts. One realizing this cannot keep an organization together or anything like that. How can he do that? Once our Swami Brahmananda Ji Maharaj, he was there in the Belur Math. It was almost the beginning of the Belur Math time. Some new Swamis, new Brahmacharis, new recruits, they came. And naturally they were not knowing what to do or not to do. So many other things are there. When we come from different backgrounds, different family backgrounds, educational, cultural backgrounds, so many other things are there. So slowly you have to chastise and the training. So the senior Swamis there, they were not very happy. One of them, he went to the Raja Maharaj, he was the president. He told that you must rebuke these boys, Brahmacharis, the new recruits, and then trying to become the monk, they call Brahmacharis. So he went and complained to the president, the then president, you must rebuke this, punish these young people. They have come to become a monk, but they are not doing or practicing this properly. The answer of the Raja Maharaj, that time, in that moment, he was united with God. Most of the time he used to remain like that. His life was in that way only. He said, whom I have to rebuke, whom to give punishment? I don't see anybody else except Sri Ramakrishna. Where are others? About whom you are talking? These all Brahmacharis? They are nothing but Sri Ramakrishna I see. So that is called going beyond these three gunas and constantly remaining with God. So Paramahamsa knows that it is beyond this, that God is constant. One realizing this cannot keep an organization. It's so difficult for that type of people. So then Tantric is telling another topic he is raising, but the law of karma exists, doesn't it? So here we find in the Uttara Gita, he says, when the Sri Ramakrishna is telling going beyond this, good and bad, etc., going beyond means knowing that this is nothing but the power of God. And I have nothing to do with the power of God, I only want God. I have nothing to do with the power of God. My father is a king. I want to go and sit on his lap as a small baby, as a child. I don't care about the power of my father, the king, how many soldiers he is having, how many wealth he is having, how many things he is having. I don't care. I only love my father. I go and pray to him, please pick me up and put me on your lap. That was the prayer of Dhruva. So obviously, I am not taking any account of other things. So similarly, if I love God for love's sake. Why should I have to think about His power? So these are all powers of God. And it says in the Uttara Gita, or the excellent the sloka describing this mental condition of the highly perfected soul, that is Paramahamsa. They say, Akasham manasam kritva, mana kritva niraspadam, nishchalam tvam bijaniyat samadhistasya lakshanam. Samadhi, constantly united with God, or the consciousness. The samadhista means is united constantly without any small break even. And when they are explaining, we have already read in when we were discussing why should you meditate, then even if you are pouring water, there may be the air bubble in the water. But if you are pouring the oil, there cannot be the air bubble in there. So they are giving the description, it's like pouring, constant pouring of the oil. So constantly the mind is going and mixing with the God and remaining and taking the form of God. Akasham manasam kritva. Akasham means the space. It's so big, so vast, everywhere. So that is our thought, my mind. Manasam kritva niraspadam, and the mana, that mind that we call the sankalpa vikalpa atmika manaha, that faculty of the mind, niraspadam, is nischala and not taking any shape. Nishchalam tat bijaniyat, then you know that particular nischala is ever present and without moving, so always remain in samadhi. So that is the description in the Uttara Gita of the mind of this type of person, the Paramahamsa. Then the Tantrika says, but the law of karma exists, doesn't it? This is a very wonderful question, law of karma. This is also one of the special feature of the Hinduism, law of karma. Why a person, why a soul is taking birth in a place and a family where right from the birth he is tortured. And another soul, as a newborn baby, again at the same time, may be taking birth in a very happy family, and right from the birth he is happy, enjoying the life, getting everything. Is it all accident? No. So the Hindu do not believe in that. That is all karma phala. So obviously the Tantric, we can understand, he was also a very intelligent person, and he was asking these questions very nicely. And it was good for us also, as because these people, they came to Sri Ramakrishna and they were asking these questions, and we are getting answer directly from Sri Ramakrishna. So the whole book, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, is nothing but the Veda, nothing but the knowledge, and in a question answer form. So when the Tantric is asking, then that is also then the law of karma exists, doesn't it? Master is giving the answer, that is also true. God produces good, good produces good, bad produces bad. Good produces good, bad produces bad. Don't you get the hot taste if you eat chilies? But these are all God's Leela, His play. So he is giving the example. Every time anything that he said, immediately he used to give the example. That was his specialty. If you eat chili, and it will burn your tongue. So obviously you will feel that. So obviously it is like that. Then Tantrika says, then what is the way for us? Because we are having so many karma phala. Now that wonderful thing that Sri Ramakrishna is telling, we will just say that, read that, and we will conclude for this talk. Then what is the way for us? How long it will take for us to all eradicate the past karma phala? I do not know. How many bundles are there? No one knows how many bundles. And we are going on accumulating also. Then what will happen to us? We shall have to reap the result of our past karma, shall we not? In a frustration, the Tantrika is asking, and the answer is excellent. He is telling, Sri Ramakrishna's answer is, let me speak the original, whatever he said, Thakleই বা তাঁর ভক্তের কথা আলাদা. He said in original Bengali, that may be so. Thakleই বা, that may be so. Yes, we have done in our past something, but what is there? But it is different with the devotees of God. But if you are a devotee, if you are praying to God, all your past deeds, past karma, everything will be taken care of God. Why? He is the giver. He can do anything. The king gives the punishment, and king can also pardon, and there is no problem for the king. Who is going to say, ask the king, you give the punishment to so and so, and then you pardoned him. Another person you gave the punishment and you are not pardoning. Why this? No one can ask the king. He is the supreme. So like that, if I am going to God, God can see, okay, whatever he did in the past, forget about that. Now he is doing very good thing. He is loving me, caring me. His mind is becoming pure. So give him all the blessings. So there is the main. So it says, afterwards Sri Ramakrishna, he is singing some wonderful songs relating to these. As is a man's meditation, so is his feeling of love. In the translation, in Bengali, bhabile bhaber udoy. When you are thinking what you are thinking, so it has translated by Nikhilanandaji, meditation. If you are thinking whatever, that is your thinking, and naturally your mind is taking that shape. And if you think about God, your mind is taking the shape of God. যেমন ভাব তেমন লাভ. Whatever you think, whatever is your idea, that you are achieving. মূল সে প্রত্যয়. But the root is your conviction. Pratyay means conviction, and mool means the root. Root is the conviction. I am pure because I am the son of God. Why should I have to think in so much? Only thing I will say, I have forgotten my address. Father, come and please take me from here. So I saw one movie, a very scary movie of course, that in the New York, the snowing, I have forgotten the movie name and the artist also. And the father told his son, in the way he was a scientist, he told, suppose there is a lot of snow, then this happened, that happened. As the father always is a scientist, on the way of just talking, he told his son that when the snow is there inside, there is always some oxygen, and you should not do this, you should not do that. Now this boy went along with his friend to the New York, and then there was a terrible snow, everything was covered. And he told his friends, see, these are the things my father told, when there is a lot of snow, we should behave like this. We are under a roof, and snow is there so much we cannot go outside, and it is freezing. These dresses won't save us. So let us be here because oxygen is here. But somehow we will put a flag or something so that they will recognize that we are here, and they will die. And we can continue for 7-8 days. And many, they didn't listen. Most of the people went out, they died, etc., etc. But the son and few of his friends, they were there waiting for the father. Naturally, the father, when he heard, and he was an influential person, He took the help of the government, a helicopter and all that, went over there, and he could find that the son is here, because he knew in that particular hotel they are leaving. So he went over there, found him. Then he said, "Son, how are you?" "Well, I am waiting for you." He said, "Why?" "I knew that you will come." "And how could you survive?" "You taught me that you have to behave like this." We also did like that, constantly sleeping so that we are burning the oxygen very less, like this, but now we are very much hungry and thirsty. See, when we are listening to the good words of the Father, that means our God, and depending on the God, having complete faith that He will save me, we are saved. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. So that may be so. Maybe that we have lot of karma phala at the past, but it is different with the devotees of God. That is the assurance. Thank you very much. And the next day again we will discuss from here. Let us offer our pranam to this God who is having no stain, and He is the embodiment of Ananda, and He has taken the human form for the sake of the devotees. And this Paramahamsa, this power of God who came as an avatar, we offer our pranam to Him. Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.